Have you ever wondered, what are the real signs that life may be nearing its natural end? It's a question that very few people dare to ask, and yet it's one of the most important conversations we need to have, especially as we get older or as we care for aging loved ones. Now let me be clear, this isn't about fear. This is about awareness. It's about knowing what to look for so you can prepare emotionally, spiritually, and practically. When you understand the body's natural signals at the end of life, you're empowered to support yourself or your loved ones with dignity, peace, and confidence. Sadly, many seniors and caregivers miss these signs, not because they're careless, but because the symptoms often look like normal aging. But there's a difference between regular tiredness and the body shutting down, between occasional confusion and deep mental withdrawal. Recognizing the difference matters because it helps you make critical decisions, like whether to call the doctor, adjust care plans, or simply gather the family to cherish precious moments. In today's video, we'll be exploring the 5 most common signs the body gives when life is approaching its final chapter, why these changes happen based on real physiology, psychology, and lifestyle factors, how to spot the difference between something temporary and something more serious, real-life examples that might remind you of your own experiences, practical tips on how to handle these situations with compassion and grace. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of the subtle and not-so-subtle ways the human body transitions toward life's end. And while this might sound like a heavy topic, it's actually a conversation filled with love and respect for life itself. So if you're caring for a parent, a grandparent, or even thinking about your own health, stay with me. This is knowledge everyone should have. Let's begin. Number 1. A noticeable drop in appetite and fluid intake. One of the first signs that often shows up is a significant change in eating and drinking habits. Now, you might say, well, older people just eat less, right? And that's true to some extent. But when the body is preparing for the final stages of life, it's more than just eating smaller portions. Physiologically, as the body slows down, its need for calories and hydration decreases. The digestive system becomes less efficient. The muscles in the mouth and throat may weaken, making chewing and swallowing more difficult. Even the sense of taste can fade, making food less appealing. At the same time, the body starts to conserve energy. Digestion takes effort, and the body naturally redirects that energy toward maintaining essential functions like breathing and circulation, until eventually even those begin to slow. Let me share a story. Adam, age 72, had always been a big eater. He loved his morning eggs, his hearty lunch, and his evening cup of tea with biscuits. But over a period of just a few weeks, his appetite began to vanish. His family thought he had a stomach bug at first, but soon Adam was barely eating at all. He'd take a bite, then push his plate away. He even stopped asking for his favorite tea. When the doctor visited, she explained that Adam's body was entering the final stages of heart failure. His organs were slowly shutting down, and the body was naturally reducing its intake because it no longer needed or could process much food or fluid. What's the takeaway here? If you or someone you love suddenly stops eating or drinking, not because of nausea but because there's simply no desire, it's time to pause and consider, is this a signal of something more? What can you do? Don't force food. Offer small soft meals if desired, but respect the person's wishes. Focus on comfort, not calories. Hydration can shift from cups of water to just moistening the lips or offering ice chips. Consult with a doctor. Sometimes this change can be managed with hospice care or palliative support to ensure comfort. Remember, this is part of nature's process. There's no need for guilt, just love and gentle care. Have you noticed this change in someone you know? Tell me in the comments below. And if you're finding this helpful so far, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps others find this important information. Let's move on to the next sign. Number 2, increased fatigue and sleeping more. Another major sign is extreme tiredness and a desire to sleep more often. Now you might be thinking, well, I nap more these days too, and that's perfectly normal as we age. But when sleep becomes constant, when getting out of bed feels impossible, and when there's little interest in engaging with life, that's when we need to pay closer attention. Why does this happen? As the body nears the end of life, it's not just physically weaker, it's biologically shifting into an energy-saving mode. Organs like the heart and lungs are working overtime just to keep going. The body prioritizes basic survival, so activities like walking, talking, or even staying awake become too exhausting. There's also a change in brain chemistry. The brain may produce more melatonin, the sleep hormone, or less dopamine, the motivation chemical. This leads to a desire to rest constantly. Let's imagine a scenario without using a specific person's name this time. Picture someone you know, perhaps a parent, a friend, or even yourself, who used to enjoy morning walks, chatting on the phone, or reading the newspaper. Over time, those activities feel like too much. Conversations shorten, eyes close more often, days blend into long periods of rest. This can be hard for families to witness. We want our loved ones to stay strong, but the truth is the body knows when it's time to slow down. What can you do? Create a peaceful environment. Dim lights, soft blankets, and quiet surroundings help. Let them rest without guilt. It's okay to sleep more, it's part of the transition. Offer short moments of connection. Hold a hand, play soft music, or whisper kind words. Presence is more important than long conversations. And remember, fatigue at the end of life is not laziness or giving up. It's the body doing what it's designed to do. Conserve energy for the final journey. Have you experienced this with someone in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the bell. Let's move on to the next important sign. Number 3, changes in breathing patterns. Breathing is something we usually take for granted until it changes. And at the end of life, breathing patterns often shift dramatically. You might notice irregular breathing, called Chine-Stokes breathing, where breaths come in cycles, starting shallow then deep, then stopping for several seconds. Noisy breaths, sometimes called the death rattle, caused by mucus buildup because swallowing slows down. Shortness of breath even when resting. Why does this happen? The autonomic nervous system, which controls breathing without us thinking about it, starts to falter. The brain's signals to the lungs become irregular. The muscles involved in breathing get weaker. The body is conserving its final energy reserves. This can look alarming to family members. Watching a loved one gasp or pause between breaths is difficult, but often it's painless for the person experiencing it. Their brain may not register discomfort the way you'd expect. Let me share another story. Eleanor, age 80, had chronic lung disease. Her family noticed that in her last week her breathing changed. She would take a few breaths, then none for 10 seconds, then breathe again. Her family panicked the first time it happened, but the hospice nurse explained, "This is normal. It's the body's way of preparing." Eleanor wasn't in pain. In fact, during those pauses, she appeared peaceful, her face relaxed, her hands unclenched. The family learned to sit quietly with her, holding her hand, instead of calling out in fear. What can you do? Stay calm. Understand this is a natural process. Raise the head of the bed. This can make breathing easier. Use a cool fan. Gentle air across the face can reduce the sensation of breathlessness. Talk to medical staff. They can prescribe medications to ease any discomfort. If you're noticing this in someone you care for, know that you're not alone. Many families experience this, and support is available. What do you think about this point? Let me know in the comments. Let's keep going. Number 4, mental withdrawal and reduced social interaction. Another sign that life is nearing its natural end is mental withdrawal. The person may seem to drift away mentally. They might stop talking as much, avoid eye contact, seem uninterested in visitors, appear confused about time or place. This happens because the brain is slowly reducing its activity. Oxygen levels may drop. Metabolism slows. As the body focuses on the essential task of transitioning, the mind often turns inward. This can be emotional for families. We want to pull them back into conversations. But in many cases, the person is preparing for their own inner journey. It's not about us. It's about their peace. What can you do? Be present without forcing interaction. Sometimes just sitting quietly together is enough. Use gentle touch. Holding a hand or stroking the forehead can bring comfort. Speak softly, even if they don't respond. Hearing is often the last sense to go. And remember, this withdrawal is not rejection. It's a natural, gentle letting go. Does this sound like something you've witnessed? Share your thoughts, and if this video is helping you, give it a like. Let's move to the final sign. Number 5. Cool skin color changes and physical shifts. In the final days or hours, you may notice cool skin, pale or bluish coloring, and changes in circulation. This is because the heart is slowing down. Blood flow moves away from the hands and feet to protect the vital organs as long as possible. As a result, hands and feet become cool or cold to the touch. The skin may turn pale, bluish, or mottled, a pattern called live dough. Fingernails may darken or look purple. These changes are not painful for the person, but for loved ones, they can be a clear visual sign that life is in its final moments. What can you do? Keep them comfortable. Use soft blankets, but avoid overheating. Hold their hand. Warmth and love matter more than fixing circulation. Prepare emotionally. This is the body's natural way of saying it's almost time. Witnessing these changes is difficult, but knowing what they mean can bring peace. It's a reminder that life is completing its circle. Have you seen this happen before? Let's talk about it in the comments. Let's take a moment to reflect. Today we covered the 5 key signs that often appear as life nears its natural end. 1. A sharp decline in appetite and fluid intake. 2. Extreme fatigue and increased sleep. Runner. 3. Changes in breathing patterns. Cool skin and visible changes in circulation. Ruts. These signs are part of life's final chapter. They're not failures or emergencies. They're natural shifts the body makes as it prepares to transition. If you've watched this far, I want to thank you. This isn't an easy topic, but it's a vital one. The more we understand about aging and the end of life, the better we can support each other with kindness and courage. What stood out to you today? Was there a moment that made you think of someone you love? Or something you'll do differently from now on? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read them all, and I'd love to know what you learned. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell. That way you won't miss future videos that can help you live, love, and care better. Next week we'll be talking about how to create a meaningful legacy after 60, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.